Good evening, once again. Welcome to PDMP Tech and AI Talk. Today we'll be having our trainer, Mr. Gani Ikuku, who is a data and analytic engineer. We've over time had two sections really, on SQL, structured query language. Today we'll be looking at some report analysis. Mr. Gani, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, so today we are going to continue from where we stopped in the last class, and we will brush through the remaining part of the last class before we start today's class. So let me share my screen. I believe everyone has loaded the table into the database. So I won't be going through that again today, so we can move fast. We can cover the remaining part of last class and move on to the next class, which is meant to be today's work initially. Okay, so in the last class we stopped at filtering. So that's where I will continue from. Any question from the last class before I continue? So basically, we have the SQL syntax where we used to filter. So just basically, as the word filter means, just to search for a particular value. So if that value is present, it returns the output. So we could do something like this here already. We can say, sorry. Hope you guys can see my screen. Select.
Yes, sir.
So we say select star from patience. After this, when we finish this particular slide, there will be practice questions. I wanted to send, but I saw that it should be too easy if I send it now. So I wanted to complete everything here. So I say where gender we run. So whatever the condition you want to put, this is the place where gender is equals to F. So these are the female. These are the female patients. So as the case may be, whatever you want to query, you can use your where function to your where syntax to filter.
Yes, I'm not seeing your screen. I don't know if other people are seeing your screen.
How about now? Can you see it now?
I'm not seeing.
Maybe you should join again. Is anyone having the same issue? Is anyone not seeing my screen?
We can see your screen.
So it thinks from your end then. So that is the duty of that is the function of the where syntax, just for filtering. You can also change it to where raise is equals to white, as the case may be. So the idea is to know all these syntax first before going into trying to solve complex problem. Because if you're not familiar with them, when you see problem, you won't know how to approach them. You have to break down the problems. So this is where raise is equals to white. So we have 10,000 patients where the raise is white, as you can see here. So everything in this query that is returned, they're all white. Okay, so let's move to the next syntax. We have the hand. So the hand is just used to combine what? multiple condition. So and for AND to function or to work, it has both condition has to be true, just as the way we have in normal case. Both condition. Oh, no, sorry. Let me do it like this. I think this is not this slideshow. I think this is it. So now, both condition has to be what's true for AND to function properly. So if you say if for example this particular syntax on the screen, you say where gender is equals to F and city is equals to boosting. If one of these conditions is not true, the AND will not return any valid row. So now let's go to our PG admin. So you can say from patient where race is equals to white and let's use and again here instead of writing a new thing. Let's say city equals to Chelsea. City, there's no city equals to Chelsea. That's true. I'm coming. Let me check. Okay. Okay. Let's just use Boston. There's no Chelsea here. Let's use Boston. So you can see now we have what our query returned because for the AND condition, there's race and there's Boston. That's why our query returned 779. So we have 779 patients from what white race and that live in what Boston City, or that's from Boston City, as the case may be. So we have another SQL syntax, which is the OR. So for OR, one of the don't forget for AND, both condition must be true. Now for OR, one of the condition has to be true. So as far as one of them is met, the query will return a result. Why for AND, both of them have to be what met. So for OR, let's change this AND to OR. Let's run. Now, what do you guys notice from this, both from the previous query and this query? Hope you guys can see my screen. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Now, what do you notice from this query? I want to run the previous query first. The one I ran before. Now look at it very well. Let me reduce this. Yeah. So now look at this query. This is the result. This is the output. Now we're changing it to OR. Please, I want this to be interactive. Oh. I don't want me to be talking, and nobody's saying anything. So what do you notice that is different from the? What is one thing that is significantly different from the both query from the results gotten?
The number of rows increased.
Exactly. Good. So you can see now the number of rows was increased. Now the AND was limited because of both conditions has to be satisfied. But now just one of the conditions. So that's why we have more outputs. This is 10,739. That one was 779. So that is the difference between your hand and your hoe. So moving on to the next syntax, which is between. So between just filter to pick within a range. So let's say, okay, this is a particular date here. I don't know whether this date is valid for this data, but let's try. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So when you're using between, note that these values are also included. So as given on the slide, it works for dates, numbers, and other types. So let's try and run this syntax on our query. Let's see. From patient, where birth date. Mind you, I said in production scenario, don't use this style. In a case whereby you are working, you know the particular columns you want. This is just for practice case. That's why I'm using star. So in a case whereby they ask you to bring in people's name, what you can do is just select first name, last name. Maybe they ask for their age, put their age. Don't use select star. Said this in the last class. So birth date between. I don't know, but let me try these dates. I don't know the particular date. Let's see whether the dates is values for the database. Nineteen 60, 12, 31. Okay. So let's run this. Let's see. Okay. Wow. That is, we have people that are born between these dates in the database. So we have 1,488 patients that are born between these dates. So in a normal scenario, you can say select instead of select star, instead of bringing out the entire what is it called? The entire database column. You can put what you want. ID. You can say maybe they want to know their. Come, let me check what is there again. They want to know their first name, last. I think this is okay. Simple. We give them this directly. You don't have to bring out unnecessary information. That's what I'm trying to explain by not using select star. So if they want to know people born between this and this, what you just need is maybe ID if they want it. But first name and last name will identify the people born between these dates. So you don't have to use select star to bring out all the whole table. Due to query cost, when you're working in a scenario whereby you're paying for your database analysis. So let's go to the next syntax. We have in. Now in is used when you want to have a list of values. So let's try the syntax too. Let's go to our what's it called SQL. So you can say select from organizations. I see some people are having issues with their installation. Is anybody here still having issues with installation?
Yes, I am. I posted my challenge. Mine is not installation. Even I was
Is what?
discouraged from creating more tables. When I finish creating my table, it's not shown under table column. My table is
Okay.
still having nothing. But when I use query, this query to bring out the things in the table, it will come out. Like I've created organization and patient. If I use the query to ask it to bring everything, it will bring it out. But under table, nothing is showing. So I just stopped at these two in case I'll be told to delete and start again.
When we're done, hopefully time will permit us to attend to your case. Because we have a lot to cover first. So we're listing different states here. It could be 2, 3, 4, as the case may be. Just when you know you want to have multiple listing, multiple values to query, you use your in. Instead of using and, or, it is better to use the in. So let's see whether this okay. There's nothing like this in organization. So let's see. Let me if I can open the file in my normal. I want to check those values in the organization. The data set is large, so it means I don't know what your values in it. So let's see what we can have here so we can check. Okay, it was even shortened to MA. So MA, what is there again? Okay, let me use city. Don't let me use state. Just city shorten. Boston, Holy, Palmer, Salam, Brighton. Okay. So we can change this to city. I want to be fast now. But we're taking a lot of time already. So you can see now, you have this condition all met. Can pick what again? Salam.
Sorry, please, what's in doing for us in this query?
Now, when you have multiple, what did I say? Multiple values to filter with, use in. So you can see we're having Boston, we're having Palmer, we're having Salam, them. So now instead of using and multiple and, so you just use in and give your list. So these are the three things we want. We want people that is in Boston, Palmer, and Salem. Sorry, I didn't put this in quotes. Oh. Do you understand now?
Yes, I do. I think that brings me to my next question. And from what we did here, the last time, and also trying to practice it, when exactly do we use this putting things in quotes, and when we don't put them in quotes?
Okay,
Because sometimes go ahead.
When you want to get values, the values in a cell and they're in strings, you use quotes. You don't put numbers in quotes. For example, if I want to write a number here now, I don't put number in quotes. These are the values in these columns, columns. So you put them in strings, in quotes, because they're strings. They're not a column, they're values. You see, we didn't put it in any string.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's move. I think we have few slides left. How many left? We have 4. Like, so we use like for pattern matching, as is shown in the slides. So this like there's more to it. Maybe people read about it because there's how will I call it? There's different type of pattern matching case. So this particular one is just the percentage. So now you are saying this particular character. So in the string, anywhere that is peanuts, it should come outside. So let's say let's say, so let's start from, is that description here? No, that description here. Let's use what's the description. Address. Red description. Like. Now, let me open the file so I can pick something that exists. Description. Okay, let's say X. So let's just say X.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I want to ask. I want to say if you can use the organization table so that one will be able to follow and know the filtering that you are doing, because this allergy table I have not created it because of the challenge I was having.
Don't worry, you will see the video when you're practicing, you'll be able to watch it. It doesn't matter which table you use. So it's just the syntax we are practicing. It doesn't matter. When you watch the video back, you get, don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Okay, X. Okay, I didn't put it in string, sorry. So you can see now, the pattern is pick out everywhere eggs appear because of this 2%. But wrapping it, this X in the percentage. So any word you put inside the percentage is going to look at that column and bring out where that word comes out. So everything you are seeing now is X. These are the people I this is 167 based on this table. So let's see if you change to capital letter, if it's case sensitive. So you can see like is what? Case sensitive. Because of the words, there's no, in our original data, there's nowhere there's capital letter E. It was all written in what? Small letter. That is why it's bringing out no output. So one thing you should note is what? Like is what? Case sensitive. So how do we deal with a situation whereby we want to use a syntax whereby we don't particularly know the case, but we want something that can work whatever the case we use? That is when I like comes in. I'm missing capital letter with small letter. Yeah. So we're going to use I like now and run the same syntax. Now have you seen? Why like is case sensitive, I like is what? Case insensitive. So you should take note of that.
So the only thing the eye does for it is to make it not to be sensitive to
Yes.
case.
Case insensitive. That is I like.
All right.
So we also have is no. Is no is just when you're looking for missing value. So let's say can say select star from patient. You can decide to write on one line, or it's not by force to write on, but to make it more legible is why I used to prefer one syntax in one line. Death, let me see, patient. Why open patient? Okay, I don't open patient. From death date. Let me see, patient. Okay, the death date there. I want to confirm. From death date. It's null. So this one should return all. These are all patients that are still alive. Since we know that their death date is what is null, that means they are still alive. Or maybe they've not recorded the data in it. So these are just the basic what is it called? SQL syntax that you face regularly. You can't escape most of them. Especially select, from, distinct, where, order by. So those are the basics one. So I think that's what will round up the last class for us. So you'll be expecting your exercise on this section, which is the last section. So we covered this, the where hand or in is like, select, duplicate, and stuff like that. So I'll be giving you something on this later. I'll send it during the day. So now, any question before I move to what we have for today? Any question before I move to what we have for today? No question. Okay. So let's go to what we have for today, which is healthcare reporting and operational analytics. So now, this is a little bit more advanced than the last slides, but we'll break it down. See, the slides content is not much, but it requires a lot of understanding. So let's look at aggregate function. So aggregate function is just used for what? Numerical columns. So in our data set, we used to have both categorical and numerical. So when you have aggregate functions, you should know you're dealing with numerical columns. Those are numbers that you can perform aggregation with: the count, the sum, the average, the mean, the max, as the case may be. So now let's start with the counts. So see, the same way you have select star, we also have count star. We have count distinct. So for example, now you want to know how will I put it? Let's say, okay, let's just say, okay, let me read what's on slide first. So select star returns the number of rows that matches the query, making it the fastest way to answer volume questions. How many can encounters, how many patients, how many scan exist. So count distance column goes a step further, counting only unique values. I've talked about distance in the previous class where I told you that it helps you remove what duplicates by showing you only what unique values. So when we use count star, it means what? We're counting for the total rows. Just like the way we use select star to bring out all the whole columns in the table. So when you use count star, it means what? You're counting total rows. Then when you use count, you specify the what is it now? Column names. It counts only that column that you specify. If you use count distinct, it means it will what? Remove the duplicates and bring out what? The unique values. So let's try some of the syntax here. Let's try select count from, let's use, let's use patients. I see. That's giving us the count of the what? The rows in the what? Patient table. We have 12,352 rows. So this is every patient in the database. So we can also put the condition of, okay, let us know like female patients. We have 12,352 patients. How many are female? So you come and you say where gender equals to F. You have 6,253. If you want for male, change it to M. I think it's stored as M there. So we have more females than male, just slight different, but we have more females than male. From the number we can see 12,000, and we have what? More females. So this is just what's counting. So you can see with our counts, we're also using where. So it's just more like you're speaking English language, but you're trying to put this in what? In the SQL syntax way. So we can also say where city let's look at the number of people that lives in Boston. Boston. Zero. Let me see. Okay, city. Nobody is living there. Okay, case sensitive, small letter. Okay, now this data is very, how will I call it? Is not cleaned yet, so I don't having this kind of issue whereby some places capital letter, some places is small letter. A small letter they use, so let's use small letter here. Let's see. So you can see you have 1,190 patients living in Boston. Now, how many are female? Just 596. So these are how SQL works. They are just asking questions, but you are trying to bring this question in a structured way, in the SQL syntax way. That is just it. There's no big deal about it. Though there can now be complex questions whereby you have to start breaking it down, and based on your knowledge of skills, you'll be able to answer it easily. So that's just SQL for you. So let's look at the slides again. Let's look at it next. Sorry. So we can, okay, we've talked about so another thing about counts, please. Count, if you are going to be using if you're going to be putting columns, it works with only what? One column. You can't use double columns. Let's for example, let's see. Right. You know this one we just count star. Let's say count so let's count. Let me remove this. Let me see, we want to use first and last now. You can see it didn't work. But let's use only one column. Let me see, it's even called first. Okay, it's called first. Have you seen? So when you're using count, you can't put multiple columns, just what? One. So it's better to use what count star here now, because you know you have multiple columns you want to see. So that's one thing about count. And take note of that. So count distance too. It will just show you the distance will just remove the duplicate, as I've said before in the previous class. It gives only the unique values. So duplicates, when you remove duplicates, it means any occurrence whereby if somebody appeared twice, it's going to remove, just going to pick one out of the two, or by removing the duplicates. That's the function of distance. So we have sum and average. We already know what sum is for. Total. To calculate total, to have average too, as it implies average cost or anything, whatever the number might be. We have a okay, we can also round it if as the case may be. So let's look at some example from here. Let's say okay, I won't give you this. This one will be assignment. Let's look at.
Sorry, please can you run an example with that distance? Because I'm really trying to see how because count the number of row and it
Yeah.
can only take one column at a time. So how are we now going to use distance again?
Okay, so distance is there now. You just there. Just put your distance inside. Have you seen?
Please, what changed? I
The
know the
values.
values change. I don't even know
Yeah.
why.
Look at the values here
Yes,
now. It's
what's the difference?
4,200 now.
Yes.
Yeah. So now if you go to the normal data sets, where is it? Patient, right? This is the patient here, right? It means that people whereby that there are cases whereby names appear twice, same value of name appear twice. So that distinct has eliminated it. Okay, let me show you
Okay.
this case. Let's use this case. Let's use this marital. You know, we have X and M here now. Let's see whether that is all that is there. Come, let me use something simpler so you can get what I'm saying. Okay, see, we have X, M, and blanks. That is just everything that is in this column, nothing else. So now let's do count marital. We're using count marital first, no distance. Sorry.
It's capital letter. The
Doesn't
marital is
doesn't
a
mean doesn't
capital
mean
letter.
it doesn't mean
Okay.
it's not a value, it's a column. So you it's either capital letter or small letter. It goes. So now you can see it gives us what 8,833 as the values in the it has removed the nulls. So now let's use distinct. Have you seen? Just two because we have only what? They are single or you are married. Have you seen now? Do you understand now?
Yes.
Yeah, so that is the work of the distinct. It's not counting the number of S that appear, it's just showing that okay, we have S and that since I start appear, I'm picking only one. I'm not counting how many times it appears. Those are the distinct values we have in the column. So if we do the same thing for gender, you still give us just male and female because that is just the two we have there. So that is the work of the distinct. So now, coming now, I want to let's see. Where is slides again? Sorry. Okay, sum and average just for when you are doing sum and average, you are dealing with figures. You can't be doing some of letters or anything. You are dealing with numbers. So let's try and look at some of this query given to us here. Select a counter base. Let's see. Select some. Let's press the counter table. Come in. I have to look at. Let me close this ones. Leave patients. Is there any numerical columns? You can't use latitude and altitude. Let's use a counter there. Okay, so let's look at Zangi. Okay, payer coverage. Okay, we have a numerical value here. Total claim cost 196. Sorry, 196. Okay, that just two values there. There are 700 and 717, 77 or 196. What about this? Okay, so I have separate values here. Okay. So let's go to this thing now. Let's use this now. Let's pick this. So you can say select sum. What's the name of the column again? payer coverage, payer coverage, um, payer coverage, payer coverage. Okay, you select some. Have you seen now? It give us the values. So this is the numerical column. So if you use let's pick a categorical column here and see whether its form will work. Let's use description. Description is categorical. When I mean categorical, it means now don't get there can be situation whereby numbers is also categorical. So don't think once you see number, it is always numerical. So let me use the word quantitative. We have quantitative and qualitative. Now, for example, now this code we have here is a categorical column. It's not a numerical column. Though I know you can see numbers, but you can't perform mathematical operation on these numbers. You can't be adding these codes together. The highest you can do there is just to count them. So don't mix this up together. There are cases whereby you see numbers. So don't think because there are numbers means they are numerical columns. For example, now these dates, we can't be adding them together. So they are categorical columns. So let's use description here. Have you seen? It's giving us an error because we can't be summing description. It has even said it already. No function matches the given name and arguments what types. So we can't be summing description because it's a what? The categorical column. So when you want to use your sum and your average, you use make sure that numerical columns.
Please, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, in events that when you were loading your data, that's when you were, of course, I don't know, uploading your data into your SQL,
Yeah.
you made a mistake like this numeric data now. You you said it was a voucher, but now trying to solve a query, you notice that it's a numeric data and you can't do that because of okay, first question. Will the summation fail to run because you already tagged it as a voucher? That's one. Then if it will, can you at this point go back to edit it and change it to numeric?
Yes, you can always update your data type. It will not work if it's voucher. It's not going to work. And you can always update your data type. If you classify, let's say for example now, the column is let me say for example now you have this now, for example, let's say this column particularly now, and you load it as voucher variable character. Now you can't perform mathematical operation because it's not integer. You can always come back to update the place the encounter first as what as integer, as numeric, then you perform your operation.
Okay, just simply going back to the fair place as if you're trying to load it again, and where you wrote
No, you don't have to write the whole query. We use there's an update syntax, set update, for you to update the data type of the what is it called, of the column. It's not, you don't have to import the entire table again. No.
Okay, so please do you mind telling us what to do?
Okay.
In case any of us run into that. All right, thank you.
Okay, so please remind me of that before we end up the class.
All right, sir.
I want to go into drawings because of the time. Where did we stop at again? Okay, I wanted to show average. Sorry. I wanted to show average. This is just some. An average just give you the average. So this is the average of the player's coverage. So let's look at the next concept. So min max. I don't have this one is not a big deal. Min for minimum to return your minimum value, max to return your maximum value. So I don't want to I don't want to go deep into this one. So let's see. Coming, I'm trying to figure out okay, data grouping. So data grouping, you have your group by syntax. So you use it to collect rows that share a value in common. So you can use it with your count, your sum, and your average. So when you're grouping by, majorly you are using a categorical let's say column. You can't use numerical column to group. You're using categorical column to group. So for example, let's look at the syntax here. You can say okay, let me just copy this from here. Not to waste time. Because we want to talk about joins, and joins will take several explanations now. Okay, so you have this. We're selecting our provider, we're counting it from our data table, but we want to group it by what? Our provider. Now let me explain. Let me explain the encounter. Let me go to the encounter table. Where's the provider? Gosh, no, I don't want to use provider. Let's use something that is. Let's use encounter class. This is better to relate than provider. Provider is just a string. Let's use encounter class, and this is better. Encounter class. Now, what do you think this query will return before I run it? I get the spelling. Encounter class. Okay. What do you think this query will return?
Okay, I think it will go to our data
Mhm.
and go to encounter class, the column for encounter class. It will count all of them, and then from that encounter, it will group it by encounter class, like different encounter classes that we have. Like assuming we have I don't know what's there, but assuming we have case. If there are 20 case there, to say case 20, we'll have like ADA, to have ADA 30, ADA, as in the different things we have there, it will count them by the subs. Okay, like we have here the emergencies, the inpatient, the outpatient, urgent case, wellness. In each of them, it will count the number of things we have there and it will give it to you. That's what I think.
Excellent. Excellent. So, yes, that's what is going to happen. Simple. That is just it. So, as she said, that is exactly what is going to happen. So, you can see now, you can see the count of every encounter class in the words, the table. So, that is just what your grouper is used for. It's simple. You're grouping. As I said, you can't group by what? Numerical column. You can't say you want to group by let me see what's the numerical column here. You can't say you want to be grouping by where is it? By payer average, payer coverage. Okay, let's even try. Let's see now. Let's group by payer coverage. Let's see how it works. So automatically it's telling you error. So I said error, encounter class must appear in a group by clause or be used in an aggregate function. Now this is caused by the fact that we can't use, it's underlying this encounter class as if it's the cause of the error, but no. It is this group by that's causing the error, which is the payer coverage, because we picked a numerical column. So when you're using your group by, as your analysis may be, always make sure you, okay, let's look at another sentence that is yeah, let's say we want to look at our, okay, let me run this first. Let me write it, then you tell me what it's going to do first. I don't want to use alias. If I use alias, you will know what the query is talking about immediately. Sorry. So what is this query going to return to us? Anyone? Anyone knows what this query is going to return? You are free to speak.
Okay. Your screen has gone off. I wanted to say something. Okay, the query is going to return using the patient data. Is
Yes.
going to select the gender, and it's going to group it by count,
Okay.
the male and the
Yeah.
female gender, and the number will be given.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's what we're going to have. Simple. So you can see that we have more female than male. So that is just how we use our group by. So let's look at another condition again. We can have let me see. We can have group by and average together. Just they are just based on the question you want to answer. There could be simple questions. There could be clinical critical questions. So let's say select encounter class. Let me see, encounter class. Okay, I think this is 129, 129. Okay, this is both of them. Okay, let's say average. We should calculate the average of payer coverage. Yes, let's calculate average of payer coverage. You can see select encounter class, average of payer coverage. Sorry. As don't forget, I said alias is just to rename the column. So we can just see as average cost from our encounter table. Then we can now group by our encounter class. Now let's do something. If we pick a different column, if we select a different column in the beginning and we group by a different column, is it going to work?
That's what I was wondering. I was seriously wondering. Let me see what's going to happen.
If we select a okay, let me see. We use encounter class. Now let's use description. Let's group by description and see if we select different column and then we group by a different column, what happens? Can you see? It told you the error already. That what encounter class must appear in the what group by clause or be using an aggregate function. The aggregate function is not the problem here now. The problem is what you have selected encounter class. We can't be grouping by another column. So we have to group by what? Our encounter class.
But even here, can we also select encounter while
Peter, I
averaging
don't
another
understand.
column that is payers coverage?
Come again, please. Can
I
we do
said
what?
here we selected
Encounter class.
encounter class.
Yes.
And we want to average payers coverage. Payers
Yes.
coverage is another column.
Yes,
Is
but we're
it
performing
allowed?
another calculation on. We are selecting the counter class. The calculation we're performing is the payers coverage. Do you get it now? It's just like when we count male and female.
Okay.
So each encounter class will now give
Okay.
us the average for that particular.
Okay, for the payers
Yes,
coverage.
the average
All
will
right.
come aside. Yes, exactly. So let's
Okay,
run this now and see. I'm coming. This other person wants to ask question. Let me run this, then we can attend to your question. Now, have you seen this is the average for each encounter class? So the operation is particularly on the payers coverage. That is where we're performing our average. So each encounter class now is bringing out the average cost.
All right, that's good.
So the other person wants to ask a question. We can also change this to sum, as the case may be. Just whatever calculation you want to use the sum to, you can change it to sum. It will still give you your values. So the problem is just knowing all this. When you have problems, how do you? Because problems will not come in select format. It will come in pure English, and that is the task I'll be giving you as assignment. I won't be telling you select start from. I'm just going to give you pure English statements. You are going to go and decode it, whether it is select you are using, whether it is deselect, whatever code you are going to use. Just pure English statements you'll be saying. So it's you that will break it down to SQL syntax. So we also have the I think we have having 2 again. Let me see what's next. Oh, sorry. Okay, having. So having is also used for filtering too. So when you're filtering groups that have been aggregated, while where clause filter individual rows before grouping happens, the decision matters between this don't matter because where cannot reference an aggregate function. So they're telling you the difference between having and where now. Now, when we perform mathematical calculation, this is when we use what? Having. So you have your average, you have your count. That's where you can use your having. You cannot use having whereby you are not having. You cannot use where in this case now. So let me show this. Let me copy this here. I have to save our time. I don't want to start typing again. Let me just copy this here. Now we are saying select provider, count, select the provider, count it, group by provider. Now I want to know the provider that was more than 50. So now we cannot put where provider is greater than 50. So now it's only having that can function in this place now because we're having what aggregate function of count. So if we run this now, automatically telling us these are the providers that are more than 50, that appear more than 50 times. Any question? You scroll down, there's not going to be having anything less than 50 here. They're all more than 50. So when you're having aggregate function, that's when you use having. You're having syntax. So it could be count greater than 100, as the case may be. It could be maybe you want to look at the modality scans based on, I don't know how you people do in your health professional, whatever the condition may be. So once you're having aggregate function, you use what's having. So we also have, sorry, the other person I want to ask question the other time. What was the question?
Okay, I wanted to ask the error that was noticed in that encounter and how you actually resolved it. That's what I wanted to ask about.
So when you select, when you want to use group by, whatever column you select first must be what you use you group by. You can't pick 2 different columns. So if we're selecting provider here, you can't come here. You can see my screen, right? We're selecting provider here. We are counting it from the encounter table. You can't see. Huh?
Yes, I'm seeing your screen.
Okay. So So now, see the same. I want to explain to you now. We're selecting provider. We're counting it from the counter table. Now, our group by, we cannot change this column again and say we want to group by another column. It has to be the column we've selected initially. That's what we explained in the other example. So we cannot have select provider. We not say we want to have select another thing here. Group by another thing here. It has to be group by provider. Because the moment you change that name, the code will not run. So if we change this provider now to, let's say, code. Code is in our table. So let's change this provider to code. Does it work? No. Because of what? By selecting provider, we can't be grouping by code. We have to what? Group by what? Provider. So we can get our accurate results. That's what I explained in the other class, in the other example.
Then, sir, my question is in all this syntax SQL, is it SQL syntax? How would one get to learn more about the command so that if one is given a task, just as you said, in a plain language, one will be able to decipher, okay, this is the command that I should use. How would one get to learn those syntax SQL commands?
It's simple. You just practice. You keep working on projects and try to solve it on your own face before you go and try to use AI. So it's simple. You know, you're just breaking your stats. When somebody asks you for this and this, you know that okay, let's say we want to know the. Let me see. Let me look for one. Okay, just like what we said. Okay, we want to know the average encounters greater than 500. Let's use that example now. We want to know average encounters greater than 500. They ask you to bring out the average encounters greater than 500. How do you solve it? You know, you are dealing with your encounter table already, or as the case may be, if it's another table in real life, whatever the case. So you know the table you are working with. That is the first question. What are the columns you need to answer your question? You note them down, or you put them in your head, anyone, before you now start to proceed to write your syntax. All these things will be in your head. You don't have to write them down. Like once you start practicing and doing projects, you will start getting the idea like naturally. So let's, for example, now want to select a counter greater than 500. How do we do this? Let's solve this together now in this class. So, oh yeah, you guys should talk. How do we go? Want to select the encounter greater than 500. They have the encounter cost greater than 500. Let's see. I think we have encounter cost here now. You guys should talk. Oh, this is normal base encounter cost. So let's. How do we pick it up? I'm waiting for your instruction. Oh. So how do we start?
Okay, I think we'll say select encounter cost.
Encounter cost. Okay. I'm not going to say whether there's any error or anything. I'm just going to follow whatever you say. Encounter cost. Do you have encounter cost? Let me confirm if the column exists.
It's not what you said now.
Wait now. Encounter cost. I'm saying, I said when you get problem, you get it in plain English. Nobody will be checking whether the column exists.
It's base encounter cost that is in the.
You are getting my point now. When whenever you are working, they will not come and be telling you select base encounter cost. So it is your ability now to then interpret that okay, encounter cost is base encounter cost in the database.
Okay.
Yeah, the problem I gave us was just pure English. I'm not talking about the columns in the database. So I'm checking out to see whether is it there, because I'm following what you're saying. So we're going to be using what? Base encounter cost.
Base encounter cost, yes. So select base encounter cost. Then count in brackets asterisk.
Okay, that is the comma, right? Count.
Like asterisk. No. Okay, then down, enter. Then from encounter.
Okay, encounter. Okay.
Group by encounter, base encounter cost.
Group by
Base encounter cost. Then enter. Encounter cost.
You've not. We talk about 500 now. Have you forgotten? You said.
No, I've not. I said enter now.
Okay, enter.
Now.
Okay.
Having cost count.
Having count. Okay.
Star as in brackets asterisk.
Okay.
Greater than 1,000. 100.
500.
Then,
not 1,000.
Okay, 500.
Greater than 500.
500.
Semicolon now.
Yeah. So this is the query that will give us the average cost greater than 500. Oh, yeah, let's run. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Let's run now. It did not work. Okay, encounter. Sorry. Let me put encounter.
I
think it's from the encounters. Yay! I got it.
What is our output now? What is your output? Do you think this output is answering our question?
Now we have just 2 base encounters now. That we have only 2 figures there. Okay, please can you say the question again in English language?
Average encounter cost greater than 500. Okay,
average. We're supposed to have put average now.
You are the one that told me what to write now. It's not me. You should have.
Sir.
It's what you said I was typing. So average encounter cost greater than 500. Oh, yeah, where should I edit? Where should I change?
Make I think. Okay. Having group by this. Having count. Hey. I beg some people should put their head. I know we're supposed to put average count. Average count.
I think in the next line we'll now put average count before putting the semicolon.
This one, yeah.
I think after line 6.
After 6?
Yes.
After line 6? Yeah. So we should put what?
Average.
Average.
Brackets.
Okay.
Base encounter cost. As.
Okay.
As I think average cost.
Is that all?
Okay.
Let me run. Base encounter cost. Okay. Why is it giving us error? Anybody know why it's giving us error?
I think the encounter that has S, I don't know, I'm not sure.
No,
select base encounter cost, but the S does not affect.
No. We ran the first one, you ran now, so it's not spelling.
The error is pointing to the bracket that I believe there's a particular command that we are missing at that where we have the average base encounter cost. The error is pointing to it.
Okay. Now let me explain something about the error. Anywhere the error on the line does not mean that is where there's an issue. It basically means that is where it is affecting. So this line might be actually okay, but it's trying to tell you that the error is affecting this particular line from functioning. So the error is coming before that line, or might be in that line, but the line is okay. That particular line is okay. So the error is actually affecting that line. So the error is before the line or in the line. But in this case, it's not in the line because the line is okay. So our error is coming before this line. So our error is in line 6.
Okay, maybe after the asterisk, then we have to put comma to show that it's a continuation. After the count that we put in a bracket, do we need to
Okay,
put a
comma,
comma?
right?
Yes.
Let me try that. Have you seen?
Yay.
No.
But this one that is up here, there's no comma after this our count. How come it ran?
Which one?
What we
That's
have on
just
the
that's
screen?
just only one function. That's one function. I just count. This one we're having count and average.
Okay. Okay.
So average
Alright.
is the last. So the moment we put comma here, it will not run. The last thing does not carry comma since it's the only one. So the comma here is already our this thing. So do you get now?
Yes,
This is
when we're
one,
giving multiple commands, we use comma and end with a semicolon. All right. Okay, all these ones are one. All right.
So now let me explain one important concept too. I know you find it shocking. That your query run does not mean you've answered your question. They could give a question, you structure a query that will answer another question. Meanwhile, you've not answered your question. I said average encounter cost greater than 500. This query that you guys gave, I don't know what it answers. It's actually running, but it's not answering my own question.
Uh-huh.
It's not the question I asked you guys, Andrew. It's not the question I asked you. Because I can't even see the encounter class here first of all. And I'm not asking for count.
Hey.
Please ask that question again. Let's reason it with this our own nonsense now.
Using the average, okay, let me put it this way to make it easier. Using the average encounter, using the encounter class, where is this? Let me show you the column. Okay, yes, using this column, give me the average encounter cost greater than 500.
Okay, I get back to what we solved. Let's look at it and see where we messed up. Okay, so I think our first thing now, all of us will be thinking, the first one, line C should be select encounter class.
Okay, let me correct that.
Let me be thinking.
Yeah, talk. There are plenty of people in this group. We should contribute.
Okay, I think maybe the count will even go. That's
Okay.
our count. We'll have to.
Search doesn't want the count again. We don't need the count. Okay.
This may go. I don't know.
What should go?
What we have now, we say select encounter class, then average base encounter cost. And we should display it as average cost.
Okay.
Then we're selecting this from encounter. Then we should group by we're grouping by encounter class, sorry.
Okay.
Not base group by encounter. Encounter class.
Okay.
Then having count more than okay. I think let's try this.
Okay. Boom. Error.
Let's keep thinking.
Okay, now, sorry. I put underscore here. Sorry. The error is for me. I'm not meant to put underscore there. It's just a counter class. So let me run it again. Bam.
I think this is it now. All these figures. No, are they more than? You said average more than 5.
The
Okay,
average is
500.
less than 500.
This
So
this
you
is
can see
less
that.
than 500.
So you're very ran, but you have not answered the question. So it's very important for you to know when you answer your question, not just my query ran. Then you're gonna be thinking you solve your problem. Maybe you're answering another question. So it's very, very
This still
important.
this still will require. Okay.
So let me just give hints. From line 6 is correct, line 7 is correct, line 8 is correct, line 9 is correct. The issue now is line 10. Because that's where the condition is coming in.
Okay, I think we're not supposed to count it.
Okay,
We're just
so what are we
supposed
meant
to
to do?
display those figures.
So I should remove the count.
Yes.
So what
Please,
should be there?
can we have that question again in English language?
Average encounter costs greater than 500 using the encounter class already. Okay, you already have. So average encounter costs greater than 500.
Average encounter cost greater than 500. Goodbye.
How about if we say having average cost greater than 500?
Average, okay, cost, which is the base encounter cost, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Like this.
Mm-hmm.
Can I run it now?
Yes.
Boom. Is it right or wrong now?
Average cost
It's
is
possible
remaining.
there's none that is greater than 500.
Okay.
Let's
So we can go
look at
back
our
to
data and see.
our data.
There's none.
So we have 129. So obviously there's none greater than 500. That is why. So this is the right query that answers the question.
Ooh.
So you can see now. So now if you reduce this to, let's say, less than 500, don't let us use greater than, since there's none greater than 500. Now you can see the average for each encounter class. Are you seeing now?
That's about everything then.
Yeah, you just have two values in the column. That's why we can see this. But you can see that
Yes.
impatience is not the same value with the rest, is smaller. So this is the query that asks a question. So part of your skills is to know when you've answered your question as a health analyst or data analyst, as the case may be, or database administrator, whichever condition job that requires you to use the SQL. So you can try on your own and form a syntax, try to solve your problem, and your syntax will run, but it does not answer your question. So you must always validate that, okay, this syntax is actually answering the question that being asked. Very important. So not just running your syntax alone. Okay, so our time, current dates, extras, all this you can read on your own. This is the important thing that we have to talk about today. And I have to, I'm coming, I want to use whiteboard. Microsoft whiteboard. I've opened this down already. The slides will be given to you, will send to you, so you can read those parts that I skipped. It's just those ones are not big deal. You can I have an issue. What's happening? Okay, good. Okay, now joins, very important. Come on, let this page open. before we do any syntax. What is happening now? We have to look for another one. So joins, concept of joins comes in whereby you have a question that you want to ask, but you can't get your answer in one table. Good. You have a question you want to ask, but you can't get your answer in one table. Your answer, to answer your question, it has to be on 2 or more tables. Do you get me now? Now, in our first class and the second class, I talked something about primary key. Don't mind my writing, no. Just anyhow I take it. You see, it's foreign key. I talk about this too. As I said, in a table, in data modeling, a table should have its primary key. For example, here, our patient, where is it? Our patient ID is our primary key. And I said the primary key must not contain what? Duplicate. That's what I mentioned in the first and the second class. So I said it must not contain duplicates. It must be unique. Because even in real life settings, whether this data set or not, but particular to health, no patient should be appearing twice in the patient's table. Because I just one person. So at no point should we have repetition of this particular ID again in this data. That's to appear only once. So that will be my primary key. Now, this patient here, ID, can now come to another table and appear twice. We don't mind. Just like the encounter, I said, I think I give this perfect example of the encounter. Now, encounter, you can see patient ID here. So here, it is a foreign key. It is not a primary key. Because in this place, it is permitted to have more than one entry. Because you can have several encounters with your doctor, your nurse, blah, blah, blah. So they can record you every time you come here. But in this other table, patient table, it should just be one. That table is about your information of who you are, where you live, blah, blah, blah. Now, this one is talking about events. Let me put it that way. So events can have occurrence again. Okay, I came on Tuesday, I came on Wednesday, so they're recording it. So I assume that is our encounter here. The provider, whoever, okay, this is the person that gave you the service, blah, blah, blah. So now, that concept is what we use in join. So the concept of that primary key and foreign key is what we use in join. Let's assume this is table A. I'm using a circle now, and this is table B. I have a question that has to what? They have to answer. We want to pick question from these two tables. What we can use to communicate is what we call joins. Without joins, we won't be able to answer the question. And now what makes this join happen is the primary key and the foreign key. When I'm doing data modeling, we'll go deep down into this. So this one is just for SQL. So primary key, you are just going to be, once there's something that will make these two talk together, you can perform your joins. Now we have different type of joins. We have inner join. We have left join. We have right join. You have full join. So those are the common ones. We have left anti-join, right anti-join. So those ones you will learn it when you get to more advanced level, but we'll just make mention of it. So what do we, let me start with explaining what joins are naturally first before we go into SQL syntax. So inner join, what is inner join? It means you have two tables coming together. This is the patient. I'll be using P for patient. This is the counter, E. Now inner join means I want to pick what is what common. So let me draw this very well. I didn't draw this very well. Okay, this is when I was faster. So inner join means here. So when I say inner join, this is what I want. This is my inner join. This is the how would I put this, pictorial representation of inner join. Don't mind my drawing, Sha. It means I want what appears here.
Intersection.
So, exactly, intersection. Mathematics. Okay, yes, we are all mathematics students. We are all science students. So intersection. That's what inner join is. It means you just want what is common. Mind you, you can also have three table join. No, I said two or more table. I didn't say just two table. So it will be here now. Abby, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it will be here. So let's just say 2, 3. That will be easier to explain. So now this is the interpretation of inner join. It means you are picking the word intersection. What is common in both. So from this idea, our left join, what will be our left join? We are still having two tables. Let's use two tables. So what will be our left join? This patient. Where am I shading for left join? To the class, where am I shaving for left join?
So please, can you ask the question again?
For left join, where am I shading? Based on this diagram, I'm hovering my cursor over. Where am I shading? Intersection, inner join, I shaded the middle here. So for left join, where will it be?
I think probably P only. I don't know.
P only. Any other suggestion? He said P only. Any other suggestion?
I'm having problem with the join. If it's join, it's not supposed to be where there's an intersection or something.
That is inner join. I explained. Inner join. We have different type of join. Join is just the general. So where there's intersection is inner join. I've represented with I here. So I'll be joining a lot of things. So now for the left join, someone said P only. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree. It's P only.
Okay. This left join here. We'll come back to that. Let me draw right join. So for right join, where am I shading?
E only.
Okay. E only.
You're going to. Yes.
Okay. Now, left, right, inner, we have full join. Let me do for full join. So this is, I'm going to put the full join here, F, to show full join. So let me draw it there. So this is P. This is E. So for full join, where am I shading?
The intersection.
We already have intersection. No? This is inner join. This is I. Represents inner join. Left join, right join, full join. So where am I shading for full join?
Everything.
Everything,
yeah.
Okay. So let me just do it like this. I will not shade everything because of most of just know every part is touched. Okay, now so you guys have given your suggestion, and okay, I did this one without asking, so that mark belongs to me. I did the 3 Venn diagram without asking. That one also belongs to me. So you guys answered only 3 questions, and out of the 3, you got only 1. Hope you guys are happy. You got only one question out of the 3. And the only one you got is the full join. I know it's full, so it's everything. It should be easy to answer because it's just full join. Yeah, now everything join. Since it's full join, that's the easiest thing to answer. Now left join and right join, you guys failed it because what you answered is not left join. It is left anti-join you answered.
Yeah, I'm not
And you
seeing
answered
the
right
screen again.
anti-join.
Hey.
You're not seeing my screen.
Oh.
Is anybody not seeing my
I'm
screen
not
too?
seeing it again, no.
It should be from your end. Is anybody not seeing my screen? Is anybody not seeing my screen? So it's from your end. Nobody's answering. So it's from your end then. Maybe you can stop. You can come again, join, and I will leave and join again. So as I said, you guys failed the left join and the right join because what you answered was right anti-join, right anti. Let me put the anti here. Don't mind my drawing. This is what you guys answered. Right anti-join. And you answered left anti-join too. Not left join and right join. So what will not be the correct shading now? What will be our correct shading?
Maybe the part of P
Yeah.
that has that intersection, but not including the E pass. I don't know. Is there a way to draw it?
Yes, that is just the answer. There's no even need of the way to draw it. It means you are taking everything in P and what is a P that appear in E? That is left join. So right join is still the same thing as left join. It's just the order of your table. Because the moment I put E here and put P here, it just depends on how I place my table. I can decide to say this is right join, left join, interchange it based on my table arrangement. You get? So for right join, it means you are picking everything from what? Encounter. And everything that appear that is common in encounter and what? And patient. That is where you are answering left join, right join. So if you are picking only encounter, that is right anti-join. That's why the anti is there. I want only. That is a complement of E. If I'm correct, if I can remember my set class, it has been a while. Like this one I used to do like this. This is right anti-join. But E is let me see. I think it's like this. The math guru should help us now. Abi, is it not like this? Did I get it? Set notation.
Good girls. It's been a while.
I think it's something like this. I can't remember. So, well, this is not, we're not writing set in SQL. I just want to use to explain. So now, this is right join. You have to bring in what is common. That is full E. If you take only E, right anti-join. If you take only patient, left anti-join. So these are the 5 joins that you'll be facing mostly. Or 4, how many have I mentioned? No? 1, 2, that'll be 6. You'll be facing mostly in your work. Most especially left join, inner join, those ones, right join. You might not really face anti-join or what is it called? Or left anti-join or right anti-join. But you see the 3 right, left, inner, very common. You will face them very, very well. So now let's go back to our slide. I've explained inner join already. So let's practice. Let's look at the encounters with patient name. So now let me copy this notation because this is the first time you are seeing it. So we have a few minutes left. So let me just be fast about this. So now let me explain this notation. This is always structured like this. So now this E here is just alias, like let me put it as a summary to show that we're using the word encounter table. It can be any alphabet, but use the first letter of the table so that you can easily relate to it, or others can easily relate to it. Why the P showing is from the patient. Do you get now? So we're selecting the ID from the what is it called? The encounter table. We're selecting the first name and last name. Now, if you look at this data, you see that we don't have first and last in this table. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
We don't have first and last in this
Yes,
table.
I'm saying it.
So we don't have first and last in this table. Now, this is where joins comes in. We want to pick first and last, but our first and last is in our patient table, which is here. First and last. These are them here. So this is when we use join, because we are bringing out information from another table. We are bringing it in so that they can work together. Now, what makes it happen is our what? Primary and foreign key, which is what is here in our syntax here. This is where it is stated. Can you see? This last line here. This is where the join is performed on. So now they wrote E patient is equals to P patient ID. Let me confirm if you have patient column here. Okay, we have patient column here. Very good. So now this is the patient column. This is the ID column. Now, data interpretation. I didn't know this before. I just noticed now that. Who can tell me something? Don't let me say it. What do you notice now? What do you get from this proof scenario that happened now? Why we're using patients? This last line here. Where is it? Sorry. This last line that I highlight. Who can tell me what happened? Anyone?
I think we're having the patient now. We'll have a table called patient. I will now have a sub in another table that is patient. Is that?
No. Any other person, if I say something else, if I say what I want to say, any other person can tell me what is happening here. Why we're taking patient here and ID here instead of ID and ID.
Okay, what I've seen in we have patient ID in encounters.
No, we have ID in encounters and we have patients. We don't have patient ID together as a column.
ID and patient. Okay, yes.
Yes.
Then on the other one of
Patients, we have just ID.
We have just ID. So we want to connect.
Patients.
Okay, it's a bit confusing when I'm not directly looking at the tables.
Okay, you want to see the patient, right? Okay, this is the patient.
Okay.
And this is the ID. This is the colon here. And this one here, we have this and this. So we didn't do in the query that they didn't do ID and ID. They did patient and ID. Why?
Okay, what I want to say is that one is a foreign key and the other one is the primary key.
Yes. So I'm asking why. What happened? Why didn't they pick ID and ID? Why didn't they pick this ID here?
Because ID
the common thing.
And pick this
if
ID
they
here.
pick ID here and pick ID at the other end, both of them are likely to be primary keys.
Okay, you're getting there, but you've not. You are not wrong, but you are not giving me the answer I still want. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I think between the two tables, this ID is what. Okay, this ID is what joins this table for patients and that of encounters.
Yes, that is correct. First of all, let me run this code. Let's see whether it runs. If I give
Sorry,
you
maybe before you run, I'm still having a problem with this. I still don't understand.
the structure.
You know, yes, like select EIDP
Okay,
first. I don't understand the
okay. So now
syntax. Like,
this E you are seeing here is just an alias for the first alphabet for the table. Encounter, they use E. You could change it to anything, but for professional settings, just use the first letter so that in case any other person is looking at it, or in case you come back again, you know that okay, P is from patient table. This means we are picking this first column that is in patient table, and we are picking this P last column in patient table. Why this ID is coming from encounter? That is just what it means. So
okay,
why you can see from encounter E, inner join patient P. So that is just what it means. Nothing else.
okay, just hold on. Okay, like now we're telling it to select
The ID
the
table,
ID from encounter,
yes.
then the first
First
and the last
from patients,
from
yes.
patient
Patients,
table. Then
yes.
when I say from encounter E,
Join, inner join. Yeah,
inner
from
join.
encounter E, which is still the E that we use in the first place. Inner join
Mhm.
patient P, still the same thing. On, now this on is here where we define the primary key, the relationship.
Okay, inner join patient P from encounter. So from this encounter, it's to join patient. Okay,
Yes.
so line 4. Explain line 4. Then
Now that's
on.
what we're on. I've not explained it yet.
Okay,
That's what I'm asking
okay.
you. That why didn't you use ID here and ID here? Why patient and ID? Yeah, some people have given some answer, which is not wrong. So, but it does not answer the question I want to hear. So shows that you fully understand. The answer you are giving is just to answer it intelligently, like okay, not deep understanding yet. Now, let me run this query first before I answer the question for everybody. Now, the query ran successfully. Now, I answer this question. Why this query ran successfully and why we're using patients and ID? Which, even though when we have ID here and we also have ID here. Now, somebody answered the question. Somebody said it's because of one is primary key somewhere, one is foreign key somewhere. Agreed. And somebody said the relationship between primary and foreign key, blah. Yes, agreed. Now, the reason is because your column's name might differ and the value might be the same when you are defining relationship. Like they might have the same interpretation, but different column names. Yeah, the situation here is that this ID you are seeing here is not patient ID, it's encounter ID. This is the main patient ID here. But they didn't name it as ID, they name it as patient. So this colon here in encounter and this colon here in patient is what is the same thing. This is primary key here in patients, ID. Why this is the foreign key here, patients. Why this ID here is a primary key? Because this is encounter ID. This is the main patient ID, but they have different column names. Do you get?
Okay, can you come back to the syntax? Let's now look
Now,
at it.
let's try and change this patient to ID. This is an online data. I didn't get it. I didn't do it. So we're trying to understand the structure too. So let's try and change this E to patient to ID and let's see whether it will work. Can you see? There's nothing was returned. Why was nothing returned? Because of what I just explained. That this ID you are seeing here is not patient ID, it's encounter ID. So this is the primary key for encounter. So that if encounter want to talk to another table, now modeling, encounter will be able to use this. But this is the main ID here, patient ID, that you are seeing here in patients that comes as ID. So it's always important that you understand your table, your database before you, because as you can see now, the only difference that's causing issue here is the ID name, the naming convention. We use ID here, and they came here. They use patient. So what that did not study the table very well, we think ID is joining on ID. No, you are wrong. ID is joining with patients. Do you guys understand now?
Yes, please, can I come back to the here so that we can
Understood.
assimilate this?
So now this is just inner join. Should we look at a question on inner join?
So before
Please
we
run this again.
we-
Let's see how the result is. Run this one again.
Okay. Now what is it giving you? What is this answer? What is this answer? What is this answer giving you? What is this query giving you?
I think because we've correctly defined what correctly defined what the primary key is in both tables.
I think it's now giving us the first and the last name of all these patients that are both in encounter and the patient table.
Exactly. Excellent. That's what I wanted to hear. This is what is common in both tables. These are the patient information that you ask for. The ID, the first name, the last name that is common in both tables. That is just it. So now let's look at one more example before we move to left join. Let's look at let me see. Should we look at imaging studies? Or okay, let's just leave it. Let's look at 3 tables. Let's do 3 tables. So let's do 3 tables for inner join. So we're selecting, let's use patients, let's use what again? Encounter, and let's use organization. I think those are the 3 tables you've used very well. So how does 3 tables work? So let's say we're selecting patient first name, last name. Encounter we're using I'm coming. Let me open organization too. Let me see what is in organization. Organization, we have name. Okay, good. You can use the organization, the name here. Very good. We have ID here. Okay. So data modeling is very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. So let's say we're having encounter patients and okay, good. Let's use like this. So let me arrange it again. Let's start from patients. We're selecting the patient first name. We're selecting the last name. We're selecting the, let's use 119. Last name. Let's use the organization name too. Selecting the encounter. What can we pick from encounter? Let's encounter. Patients, provider. Let's pick stats. Start, yeah, start date. Let's use stats. So encounter will be it dot start. Now you understand how I did this first few lines. Forget about the remaining lines now. The first line is just select what I want to do. I'm using 3 tables. So patient table first. I'm picking the first name. I'm picking the last name. I'm picking the name of the organization from the organization table. That way you can see oh yeah. And I'm picking the start dates from the encounter table. That's what I've done so far. Now, we're starting from the patient table. The relationship between the patient and the encounter has been defined for us already. So we're saying from patients, let's start from patient table. From patients, these 3 tables are joined together: patient, organization, and encounter. So from patient, which is P that we have used. We want to inner join it with encounter. Which is E. Right? Now, if you look at this diagram, here's my Google. This is 3. Patient, encounter, and organization. Now I've brought 2 together. We're bringing 3 together, sorry. So inner join on encounter, which is a okay, let's bring anyone, it doesn't matter the order, whether it's patient on E or E on patient, anyone, since it's inner join. Now, how do we bring in organization? Well, let me just put it from the inner join encounter on patient ID. Okay, let me put patient ID here. So some people now start asking, why do we put? This can be anyway, but let me follow the order I've used. So how do we bring in organization into this now to make it a three table? Any idea?
I think we'd start on line 7 after inner join encounters E. I think I would put a comma, then
For yeah?
yes, there, comma, then organization.
Organization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Is that all?
Yes, oh.
Let me run this.
Wait, I think we'll still on this on patient
Okay.
ID, then E patient, then we're supposed to have O. Then we'll go to organization and find the is it ID now or
The
patient that is
organization, let's see.
carrying.
Patients, we have ID, yeah. Is ID we have in patient too? Just
Okay,
ID.
so ID now.
Yeah.
O ID.
OID. Where am I going to write my OID? Yeah.
Down on that. Yes. Yes.
Comma or what? Or equals to?
What is separating ID and E patient? Is that equal to? Equal to now.
Equal to OID. Like this, right?
And I'm also thinking this encounter, maybe and organization. I don't know. The line 7.
Okay, let's run this one first, then we'll do and.
Okay.
Let's run this one first. Error. So let's change it to and. Let's run it to. So both of them is error.
You are not highlighting.
No, I
No,
don't have to
that's the
highlight.
only thing there.
That's only on
That's
the
the only
thing on the board,
there.
on the canvas, so I don't have to highlight. So both of them is giving error. And it's showing us that it's from here. So that means we have not successfully bring in our organization table. Now we have ID here. This ID now, is it patient ID or encounter ID? That's the one question you have to know too again. Because we know that our ID here is encounter ID, but our ID here is patient ID. So where are we going to be joining organization on? Is it patient table or encounter table? That will, the type of ID we have here will determine where we're going to be joining organization on. If it's patient ID, it means we're joining on what? Patient table. If it's organization encounter ID, it means we're joining on what? Encounter table. But first of all, our syntax is wrong. So now let me correct it because of our time. I won't have time to be asking questions again like that. So encounters, we've done this successfully like this. So when you're bringing your in another thought table, whatever the join you want to use, you state it again. Inner join.
What does equals to signifies in this syntax?
By joining them, that's the primary, that's the relationship between both tables.
Okay.
So inner join, we're bringing in an organization now. So we're going to inner join organization too and organizations. which is O, on now the ID we have in organization is what? Is for what is it called? Encounter. It's not for patients. So we change it
How
to
do you
E.
know?
Eh?
How do we know? How do we know what their ID is for?
Yeah, you don't have data dictionary here. So in a most structural case, you will know definitely. Because of this is just an online data. So I know it's for what is it called? This thing. We'll try it on what is it called? Patients. So we'll see. Or we even use the syntax, it automatically dictates. So this is it here. Now, what we have done here is going to pick. Okay. Now, this might be confusing because it's three diagram. And in a pictorial way, you can't break it down behind the scene how the technology will run and pick it. So we just know that it's going to pick whatever appears in the three. That's if our code successfully run. That's what it's going to pick for. So let's run our code to see whether it will even run at first. Is it organizations? Sorry, let me
It's
check.
organizations. Yes, yes.
Organizations. Okay, the organizations, let me see organizations. Yes. So what else? Patients. I think it should be patients. Is it patients or patients? Okay, let's see. No, that one is stable, so it's patients. Sorry. That one is stable, so it's patients. Okay, let's run this. E-patients. On E-organization. Okay, let me see. Why is this not working? Let me see.
I thought you said
E-patient.
is that joint is on encounter, but you're not joining it with them.
Sorry, I make a mistake here. This should be E-ID. I think this should be E-ID. And O, yeah, this should be E-ID. Because we have ID here. We have ID here. Yeah, so I'm assuming now that this ID is encounter ID. Hopefully, let's see. Let's run. If you run that is e-patient, yeah, it should be e-patient now, right? Definitely. Let's run this. Why is it giving error again? Something is wrong then. First name, last name, starts O dot name. First name, last name from patient table, organization table, join on patient, ID, encounter patients. Oh, patients, not his patients. Inner join organizations. Oh, on. Oh, I think it's right now. It's well arranged on this organization. Okay, this should work.
How about on the first
Let's see.
inner join encounters?
Oh,
Shouldn't there be an E?
which one?
Line 7, inner join encounters E, like at the end.
Yeah, there should be E here. So let me run this again. Let me see. Good. So now it shows ID. Now I don't know. Let me change it to this is E of ID. Let me change it to P. Let's see whether it is the patients. Okay, that means there's nothing common. There's nothing common in both this thing. Okay, let me try something. I'm coming. I want to try something. This should not work, but let me try this. Well, it works. Wow. Okay, it works. Okay, so basically now why this works is that we are joining. Okay, maybe in the background, what SQL does was that it picks. That's the image. It comes. Sorry, let me come here. It picks patient table first. You join it with organization, encounter. Now, organization was coming in. It looks through patient table. Please, I want to explain some things as what happens in the background. Though. So this organizational table down is coming in here. Now, instead of us declaring the primary key and foreign key for organization, we just come in here and we state the primary key, the key we have in what is it called? In patient, in organization. The key we have here, which is what ID. This O.ID is from organization table. They were telling it to what to come together with the encounter table. We get to detect what the primary key, which is the ID. So I was declaring encounter to join on what organization using the word ID feed here. Let me use the table here. These two have joined together. Patients and encounter has joined together successfully based on patients and ID here. This might get confusing. Let me draw it. Maybe this will be better. I'm coming. Let me clean some parts here. Where is the eraser self? So I'll clean some parts here so that I can explain this thing. You can get it. So I'm saying patient and encounter. Please ask any question if you don't understand here. I've joined together successfully using ID that is here and patient that is here. So now these two have joined together successfully. But a third table is coming in, which is what organization. So as it's coming in, we want to join organization with what? Encounter, not on ID again. But SQL know in the background that what it is what three-way join. So we're defining that this E. Can you see this E here? Can you guys see this E that is here?
Yes.
It's joining on. We are
Yes,
saying
sir.
this E is the encounter joining on the organization table using the ID field in the organization table here. This ID here. So we're saying this one should come here. The ID that we have in organization. Where's my diagram? The ID that we have in organization here. Is a foreign key because that is not its initial table. And the one we have here, the ID we have here, we have ID here, we have patient here, which is the patient ID. Then we have normal ID here that belongs to the encounter on its own. This is the encounter ID. So we're saying this organization, when it's coming in, come in here and pick this one so that the three of them can relate. Now, once this one join with this one, automatically in the background, it filters to this one. So it's now going to pick everything that appear in this tree. That is what is returning here. So these are the names that appear in the patient table, the organization table, and the encounter table. The three of them. Do you have any question? We are running far away from our time. Any question before I go to the next? Any question? We're almost okay. Just round up. So left join. Left join means, as I've explained before, you're only keeping what? You're having only one row. You're keeping the row on the left. Get me what is common from this other table. but keep everything that is on my own table too, based on this diagram. Get me everything that is common in that table, that is appears in my own table, based on my own table, not on the other table. So the base is the, using this diagram here, the base is the what? Patient table. So let's say, for example, we have A here. We have A here. We have B here. We have B here. In the patient table. Now, in the encounter table, we have A here. We have B here. We have C here. We have D. Now, what the left join will do is it will pick these 4 values here and come and pick these 2 and join, because it's common. Do you get now? It will ignore this C and D. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That is what left join is about.
No, I didn't get exactly what is the explanation there.
It's picking what is in
Yeah,
his own table. Everything in his own table first.
getting full.
Everything on his own table first. Then looking at the intersection with the other table. That is what left join is. So patient table here, I say we have the value A, B, B. In encounter, we have A, B, C, D. So left join will pick all this A here and B here. Then come and add this A and B. So your output will now be A, B, B. So let me put the output here. That will be now be A, B, B. This is initially what is in the patient table. Then when we left join on encounter, so that give us the A and B that is in the encounter too, to make it complete. So this is what it will output. This is what it will output. Because we have A and B in encounter. It will not pick the C and D. Do you get now?
Yes, sir.
That is what left join is about. So right join is still the same thing. It's just that we're starting from the encounter now. So we're saying pick everything in the encounter table first. So to pick A, okay, what will be our output for encounter if you do right join? Don't let me, from this table I use A, B, B, A, B, C, D. Now if we do right join here, what will be our output? What are we going to be having? What are we going to be having as our output?
We'll have A, B, C, and D only.
A, B, C, and D. Okay. What of the one on the other side? We have it. A, B, B.
Oh yeah, yes, plus and 1B.
So right join will it will include what? The C and D. That will be the difference. The C and D will be included because C and D was initially on the what? On the right. So we are moving far away from our time. So I have to round up now. So I want to finish this one now. So we have right join. Okay, I've said that already. Okay, that is even all for the class. So now we are going to be expecting tax on both this particular section that we just finished and what is it called? And the last section. So if you're having like a mini,
Please,
it's going to be a mini.
don't include this. Don't include the join. That one.
If you don't practice it, there's no way you are going to understand this. You have to practice it. Not. You can watch more videos online to grab because, but basically, is everything I've just explained here. This is just it. The rest is just you writing the code. Just it's inner join. What is common between the two tables?
We'll give it
Left join. Left join. When you pick what is common, and you pick the first table, which is the first table that you identify, and what is common from the other table. Right join is just the reciprocal. Then we have full join when you pick everything. Left anti-join when you pick only one table. Right anti-join when you pick the other table only. So that will be the end of today's class from my end. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your time and for all the teachings.